Welcome back. Before we get started, let's go to Worth Wolpert and Randy Buehler for a look at the decks.
William Baby Huey Jensen is playing a Trade-Wind Survival deck. The deck is designed around a green card called Survival of the Fittest. Once that enchantment hits play, Jensen can go get all the Trade-Wind riders he needs to take control of the game and lock his opponent up. This plan is backed up by versatile permission spells like Force of Will, Counterspell, and Mana Leak.
Jason Zila is running a 4-color deck erroneously nicknamed 5-color blue. Much like Jensen, Zila's deck is a control variant, and you can see the same excellent permission spells, Counterspell, and Force of Will found here as well. Zila's route to victory is usually to use his Wrath of Gods and Swords to Plowshares to clear the board, and then to drop Morphling to finish off the game.
This matchup certainly favors Jason Zila, as he admits that he designed his deck to defeat creature-based decks, especially the Trade-Wind Survival decks that he expected a lot of the Masters field to play. Wrath of God can yield a huge amount of card advantage, and Jensen's going to have a very rough time trying to keep his key creature, Trade-Wind Rider, around for long.
So now we'll see how 6'8" Baby Huey on your left fares against Magic's enigmatic player from the past, Jason Zila. You never know when Zila's going to show up, but when he does, it's always exciting. This is the first time these two guys have played each other, and the venue is historic Madison Square Garden here in New York City.
There's really a stark contrast between these two players. Zila had great success 3 or 4 years ago when he was 15, finishing 2nd and 5th at back-to-back Pro Tours. It's amazing that Zila's made it all the way to the finals in his first tournament back after taking time off. Jensen, on the other hand, just arrived on tour last year, but he's already made quite a name for himself. In this game, Jensen's been attacking with Quirion Ranger and Uktabi Orangutan, while Zila just sits back and builds up land. Now, it looks like Zila might be making his move.
And there is, looked like Morphling. Yep.
Hello.
There he is. And it looks
like Huey's got the Force of Will. Huey's going to try to say no.
I have a feeling that Force of Will might not resolve.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
there
was
was Counterspell.
So, small counter war over Morphling, which Zila wins.
Zila's tapped out, though. I don't know how relevant that is in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to really matter that much.
11.
Yeah. Morphling is just an amazing creature. It's 3/3. And it has 5 different special abilities. You can give it flying. You can increase its power. You can help out its defense. It slices. It dices. You can untap it. You can make it untargetable.
You can win $10,000 with it.
You can win $10,000 with it.
16.
Yeah, so Morphling's attacking right now, but anytime Zila wants to, he can pay 1 blue mana, untap it, and stick it in front of Uktabi Orangutan. Or Quirion Ranger. He can block all he wants.
That card's just ridiculous.
Morphling does everything.
First Urza Saga pack I ever opened, that guy was the rare, and I thought there were good things to come if the rest of the set was like him.
11.
There were. That was Urza Saga. So Morphling, wow. It attacks. It's going to whittle Jensen around, probably winning the game in 5 turns, maybe.
Yep.
And simultaneously, it's holding off both the Orangutan and the Quirion Ranger. Card's crazy. 3 copies of it in Zila's deck. That's his win condition.
He's at 11.
So it's 11-all right now. Zila is going to attack this turn and take Huey down, in all likelihood, take him down to 6.
Right, since the Morphlings, in order to increase the Morphlings' power, you have to give it +1/-1. So it starts out 3/3, and every turn, Zila can spend 2 mana to pump it up to 5/1. Can't hit any harder than 5 unless somehow you make
6.
it, increase its raw stats. Yeah. Morphling takes another chunk out of Jensen's life total. Jensen's going to go digging for answers. There's not a whole lot he can draw, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had an active, no, there's Trade-Wind doesn't help that much. You can try to swarm him, that doesn't help that much. Once Morphling gets into play, there's just not a whole lot Jensen's deck can do about it.
Okay, so Huey puts 2 back. Let's see what he found, if anything.
Spike Weaver.
Spike Weaver
can
would be
slow
pretty
it down.
decent.
If he could get Spike Weaver, but then the Weaver runs out. The Weaver can slow it down for 3 turns, but then the Weaver's gone.
Yep.
Can only use it for 3 turns of stopping all creatures from attacking. If he had a Trade-Wind Rider and he got a Weaver, potentially he could just use his Weaver forever. The likelihood of that happening when Zila's got Wrath of God and Counterspell in his deck is really small.
He has a bunch of cards in his hand.
Yeah,
right
you
now,
see
too.
Huey's already starting to just block with Bird of Paradise. Bird of Paradise, an 0/1 flyer. can't hurt Morphling. It can stop it for a turn, but it gets destroyed in the process. So we call that chump blocking, just sticking a dork out there to take one for the team.
Another wall, maybe? Yep.
Wall of Roots.
There's another wall of roots. Doesn't really do much.
Nah. The key card to Billy Jensen's deck is Survival of the Fittest, and he hasn't even drawn one this game.
I suspect if he tried, that would not resolve.
Of course, that's Zila's number one card that he's targeting for stopping is certainly Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah, I was talking to Jason a little bit before, actually, and he feels like there are only, you know, maybe trade wins and survivals are just about the only threat in the Morphling in Huey's deck. I mean, he really can save his counterspells and be very, very selective with them.
Mm-hmm.
Another Morphling? Oh, my gosh. Isn't it against some kind of law to have two of those in play at the same time?
Huey thinks so.
Oh, forbid?
Forbid with the buyback. Zila casts Forbid, and I believe he discarded 2 cards, trying to put it back into his hand if Forbid resolves.
Hold on. Forbid didn't resolve yet.
Forbid has not yet resolved.
Well, I mean, still on the stack, yeah. Cards are discarded.
So Zila discards Impulse and Wasteland. Now, if the Forbid resolves, Zila gets to put it back in his hand and have it again. He'll be able to use it on a future turn.
That's fine.
Yeah, Jensen would surely have stopped that if he had anything to stop it with,
Here you go.
but he just doesn't.
So Morphling number 2 resolves.
This should do it, right?
Brainstorm.
Jensen's going to brainstorm. He's going to look for some answers, but he may be able to come up with Bird of Paradise to stop Morphling for a turn. But that's it.
That'll do it. Jason Zila takes game 1.
See the leads, 1 game to 0.
My name is Jason Zila. I'm 20 years old. I'm born in California.
Jason Zila used to crush me. He's like my nightmare. Bringing him back in the game is just the worst idea ever.
I took a break for a while, and I really haven't played that much over the last year.
It'll be kind of funny to see him go all the way. I mean, he's a great Magic player, he just hasn't played in a long time.
Jason's deck is very geared towards beating creature-oriented decks. It's very reactive.
The deck he's playing, I've played 2 of those people playing the same deck the rounds before, and I beat them pretty easy. Once you get back into it, you start, getting the competitiveness again, and I like being the best of things.
He's amazing. He's such a good player. He's very dynamic, very bright.
I'm kind of rooting for Jason Zila coming back from nowhere.
It's great to be back. I haven't played in a long time.
The 2000-2001 Magic the Gathering circuit stops all over the world. Let's take a moment to learn more about this game. Magic is a trading card game. The object is to reduce your opponent's score from 20 to 0. To do that, players send their creatures against each other in waves, always seeking a lapse in the defense or an opening to exploit. To get you up to speed, here are the 3 basic types of cards. Creature cards attack and damage the opposition, and they can be used to block attacks. Then you have spell cards, each with an effect on the game that helps you or hinders your opponent. Land cards are the resources. With more land in play, the creatures get bigger and the spells get more devastating. Magic requires planning, tactics, and the ability to think fast. They say you can learn how to play immediately, but mastering the game can take a lifetime.
Welcome back to the action. We're going to move ahead now to game 3 on your screen and update you as to what happened in game 2.
Yeah, Jensen came out fast and furious in game 2, but Zila appeared to have all the answers. Zila countered each of Jensen's first 3 spells, and it sure looked like Zila was gaining control. However, when Zila finally decided to sweep the board with Wrath of God, Jensen made his move. He first won the Permission War over the Wrath, then he untapped and broke the game wide open by playing Back to Basics. Back to Basics says that non-basic lands do not untap. With that 1 card in play, Zila was completely helpless, and Jensen won in spectacular come-from-behind fashion. Now the match stands at 1 game apiece, and Baby Huey's only 1 game away from a stunning upset. If he can get another Back to Basics into play, he just might pull this off. Not much has happened yet in game 3. Both players are biding their time, trying not to be the first guy to blink.
And there's a bird. Zila just keeps playing land. I'm sure he's content to do that for a while.
Sure. Yeah, in the game 2, Jensen had a couple of early threats, and Zila was able to sort of counter them and get to this situation. This time, though, no early threats from Jensen.
Go ahead.
I wonder if he's trying to set himself up to get survival into play
For
or
a big
get back to
turn,
basics
maybe?
into play.
Go on.
A lot of control on control has to do with what we mentioned earlier about Ophidian and card drawing, but another underlying element is just the sheer amount of mana you have.
It's true. If you both sit there with a handful of cards, eventually somebody's going to cast a spell. And if you're the first person to cast a spell, you've sort of tapped some of your land. You don't have enough land left over to win the permission battle often. So if you just keep playing land, you sort of never have to cast a spell. Once you run out of land, you accumulate so many cards in your hand, you're forced to, well, I either discard or I start the war that I'm probably going to lose. So drawing land, both players cast Impulse over the last couple turns. I bet they each took a land.
Probably.
Not be at all surprised if both players just took a land, because they're smart enough to know that's how you win control and control.
We'll see if that's the case when we come back from break. Don't go away. He's a rising star in the Magic scene, and with a nickname like Baby Huey, William Jensen should give Jason Zila a run for the title. Let's take a moment to meet this Beantown whiz.
I'm William Jensen. I'm 18 years old, and I'm from Millis, Massachusetts. I'm very proud that I was able to come and play with 32 of the best players in the world. I'm playing a deck that's based around a card called Survival of the Fittest, which allows you to discard a creature from your hand to search your deck for any other creature and put that card in your hand. And I decided to play this deck because we tested a few decks and this seemed to do the best against the field. My favorite card is probably Counterspell because it allows you to stop anything your opponent tries to do. He's a huge favorite over me in this match. My friend Ben, who played the same deck, played him and he got destroyed. And Sigurd Eskelin played him last night with a very close deck to ours and he also got destroyed. It's going to be really hard to win. I'd be very proud. I think it'd be a great honor to win the first Masters tournament, and the money would be great too.
We now continue with Game 3. Here's Worth and Randy.
Quiron Ranger continues to chip away at Zila's life total.
Guy's done 5 so far.
Yeah.
Yet another lane.
Treetop Village.
Yep.
Zila plays this land. It comes into play tapped, and if you spend 2 mana, you can turn it into a 3/3 creature.
6 cards.
So Quiron Ranger's going to come over for 1 more hit, but after that, Treetop Village can block it.
Oh, we might have some action now. There's an annul.
Jensen knows it's time to start going for it. My Quiron Ranger offense is not going to go the distance.
It's interesting that he even bothered to annul with the Seal of Cleansing in play. Apparently that Seal of Cleansing is earmarked for back to basics and back to basics only, I think.
Yeah, Jensen's fighting a permission war over Survival of the Fittest that may disappear as soon as it resolves.
Oh, Forbid coming up.
The thing is, he'll get to use it 3-4 times if it resolves, before the Seal of Cleansing resolves. He can just activate it 3 or 4 times as a response to the Seal of Cleansing. So I don't think Zila wants to seal it away. He wants it never to come into play in the first place.
Nope, Zila pump faked the Forbid. He's going to try another annul.
There's annul number 2. And Survival goes away. So, battle number 1 to Jason Zila.
Yep, Zila comes out the winner on that battle.
14?
Oh, by the way, Quiron Ranger knocks him down to 14. Like, that matters.
Oh, sorry. It was not an attack? Go. Yeah, that was an attack. Cards? 6. You have 4.
So he untaps his bird with the Quirion Ranger. He does have 5 mana, so he does have Force of Will mana available.
It's true.
Go on.
Zila content to say go and leave his Treetop Village up there.
Yeah, this is mana and Treetop Village. That's enough to step in front of Quiron Ranger. If Quiron Ranger comes over, it's just going to die to the Treetop Village.
I mean, Zila's pretty much in I don't care unless it's Trade Wind or Survival mode right now. So that's 3, 4. Spike Weaver. Maybe he'll care about that.
Yeah, 3/3 creature has one of its special abilities is that you can spend 2 mana and move one of those 3+1/+1 counters onto a different creature. So he could, in theory, create a 4/4 Quiron Ranger or a 3/4 flying Bird of Paradise. Teammate of mine, Mike Turian, refers to that as the Big Bird plan. Just move all the counters onto Bird of Paradise and send Bird to the head. Ah, the Big Bird plan.
So I think that's resolved.
Go.
Yep, came into play, got 3+1/+1 counters. So that's a 3/3, and the counters can be moved around onto any creature Jensen wants. 2 mana per counter.
Zila taking a while here.
You just can't tell what he's got.
No, you
A
can't.
lot of players will sort of tip their hand. I've got permission, I've got answers. He's also really stingy, if you think about it. He gets maximum value out of every card.
Yep.
He just won't use up his resources unless he absolutely has to.
I'd be willing to bet there's a forbidden in his hand, however.
Maybe Zilla just wants you to think there's a forbidden in his hand.
11.
Fake me out.
Absolutely. I wouldn't put that. Of course, yeah.
Spike Weaver's coming over.
So he serves with the Spike Weaver.
And Zila's going to take it, going down to 11.
Zilla had the option of putting the 3/3 Treetop Village in front of it, but Jensen could just put damage on the stack and then shift the counters onto his other creatures, so that's not a great play.
Zila probably going to go get another Tundra with that floodplain.
Thins a land out of his library. Probably wants to draw spells right now.
It's actually not really important, but it does make a slight mathematical difference to use those kind of fetch lands during your upkeep. It does thin your deck out, and it increases the chance that you're going to draw an actual spell instead of a land.
With $150,000 in prize money at stake, Masters competitors are making a bid to join the rest of the folks on this list. Here's a look at some of the leading money winners on tour. Welcome back to the third and final game of our match. Worth and Randy have the call.
That's 4. Set aside all nice and neat like.
Just enough to cast Wrath of God?
There it comes. God's
Yep.
mad.
I assume Jensen has to fight this. It's certainly bad for him. If this spell resolves, all
He's got a
4
little
of these
smirk on his
creatures
face.
head here.
He's tapping 5. That's not a good sign. I mean, he has a Force of Will, but it's just not a good sign in general.
Hard cast the Force of Will.
Highly unlikely Force of Will resolves.
If Zilla has another Wrath in his
Pyro.
hand, it's possible that Zilla has another Wrath. Looks like he's going to fight.
Counter back.
Counterspell. Jensen's pretty much obligated to try to win this war. He's got to use up all the resources he's got. Try to win. Removes Tradewind Rider from the game. Casts a second Force of Will.
Jensen 19.
So the onus is back on Jason Zila now. He's fingering that.
Oh, taps 2 lands. He's going to be down to 1 land on Huey's turn.
Boy, if he
but
doesn't
looks
have
like
a
he's got
Pyro
Counterspell.
Blast, he's the best bluffer in the world. He's fingered that volcanic island like he does about 3 different times now. Boy, another counter?
Oh, Jensen's got the mana leak. And Jensen wins the counter war.
Wow, that was big.
Yeah, 19.
That was big.
All right, Wrath of God does not resolve. And now, Zila's down to just 1 land untapped. He's pretty vulnerable right here. He's going to get attacked for 4.
You're on 7.
And Jensen could probably get another good spell to resolve.
Back
like
to basics?
Back to Basics.
I'm sure that's gonna hit the table.
Unless that should hit the table because Seal of Cleansing can just be traded for it. Zila knows he can seal away the Back to Basics. But if Jensen has a second one, then Zila's in trouble.
Unless he does have that Pyro Blast.
All right, Jensen got more.
Oh my goodness.
Hello!
Go.
Does he have Pyro
Oh
Blast?
my gosh, no he
What are life
doesn't.
totals here?
Goodness gracious.
Jensen 19, Zila 7.
Wow.
No Pyroblast. Jason Zila has been in this situation before.
Yes, he has.
Jason Zila has faced 3 of these and lived to tell about it, but I don't think Jensen's going to randomly draw an extra card.
Let's see if that Tundra that he pulled off the top of his deck mattered at all there.
That could mean Disenchant. He doesn't have much time, though.
Oh
Hello!
my. That's gonna do it,
Zila
folks.
with this smile. Wow. Actual emotion from the Zila monster.
Wow. Huey with some incredible pulls there.
That's it, right? Baby Huey gonna take home $25,000? 1 more attack phase.
You're on 3.
Zila's at 3. There's not much he can do. Swords to Plowshares might slow the bleeding for a turn.
I don't know if he can even afford to tap his Tundra at this point.
Jensen trying to keep the smile off his face. Wow. This
Huey
was thought to
untaps.
be Zila's tournament to win. Jensen may win the unwinnable match.
Spike Weaver and Ranger come over. There's a plow.
Move 1 counter.
Oh,
Move 2 counters.
Aquarian Ranger's gonna get big.
Oh, not quite.
That's it.
William Baby Huey Jensen wins the Masters event finals, defeating Jason Zila 2-1 in a matchup that nobody thought he could win.
The key play in the final match came with the permission battle over Wrath of God. Not only did Jensen win it, but since it was on Zila's turn, it allowed Jensen to untap and drop not 1, but 2 copies of Back to Basics, crippling Zila's ability to react for the rest of the game.
So along with the title of Masters Series champion, William Jensen takes home $25,000 for his efforts. Here's our new champ with a few thoughts on the match.
Well, I thought I had a small chance, very small chance. His deck is very good against my deck. It's a very, very unfavorable matchup, but I guess I got a little lucky and played well, and that was good enough to win.
On behalf of Worf Wolpert and Randy Bueller, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from New York City. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.